All right, so last time we left off, we were going over the tools here. And when you saved that, you would have ended up with something along this lines. And I'm sure that you've probably experimented and explored those tools and everything, which is good because hopefully you've got your height map kind of designed, and we'll go over getting your texture and normal map today for DayZ tools. Okay. So we're going to, you'll open up your project. I'm going to open up mine. I'm going to import a height map that I already have real quick. All right, so at this point, you've got this, you've gone in and you looked at it and everything. If you were to go into 3D edit it and it doesn't have any, if you did it from scratch, you know, it should be like last time where you could go and use your tools on it and everything. There's mine, you know, you can go shape it however you need. Get the height map however you want. You're going to still be able to edit it after we do this next part, but as far as like the edge of the map and things, you kind of want that about where you want it when you generate your satellite map or texture map. And that's what we'll be doing next. So we're going to hit escape and come back to here. I'm going to go over here to operations and calculation wizard. So the few things that we're going to need is attributes map and the texture map, and we want terrain normals. And then the light map is going to help make the actual texture map, like satellite image that you're going to lay over this, look better. So we'll want to do the light map as well. I've already got a satellite map that I'm going to lay over this. But what you would do is go through this generation process. So yeah, have it clear. You got your water floodplain. Water level would be, I think with this one, with yours, leave it at 0. That should be fine, especially if you did it by scratch. I think with the way I have mine, I need to bring it up a little bit. So I'm going to put mine at 10, but you should be good leaving yours at 0. And then I'm going to go to next. Next, you can leave that. Temperate, we'll make a high resolution. We're not going to split. Actually, no, yeah, we're going to split. Leave it at 512. We're going to use all this. I'm going to put that up to here. Make high resolution texture. And leave that as is. And then we could do bump mapping. Check all these. I like to make it so there's less shadows, but so you're getting the sun direction like straight down. It's going to look the best. And then this at just about 84. Then it'll look pretty good on your satellite map. And we'll press next on that. We can apply the bump mapping, make a high resolution light map. You can. I don't need a high resolution one for this. I recommend that you could probably do that and make it look better, but like I said, I already have one, so we'll go next. Okay, so yeah, we can skip that one. It's just telling you that both those aren't necessary. And then next, and it must be saved before proceeding, so that's fine. I'm just gonna put it in a folder on the desktop real quick. New folder. I'll make this L3 test. Okay, and then it's going to proceed to generate. Okay, so here we have the texture map, and it's all ready. So we're going to right click, go down here to the texture map brush, the 3D one, and click on that. So very similar to what we were doing with the height map 3D tool brushes and stuff. You can use your scroll wheel to adjust the size. You just have to go in and select the textures that you want. It's as simple as that. It'll automatically, if you look up in there where it says auto calc, that means auto calculation according to terrain. And then you'll just click and hold and brush on there. So play around with your different settings on here. If you want something specific, then you'll click this drop down and go find exactly what you want. And then you click and drag, and there you have it. So you can do your shorelines, you can do your mountains, you decorate it the way that you want. This is the way it's going to appear. Obviously if you had like a map generated from like QGIS and then an actual satellite image, then you could use that. But here you're doing it from scratch, so you paint the surface the way that you like, and then once you have everything, you just press escape. And let's see. This is I just did a voice over here. Oh yeah, so like here's some shoreline. So before we back out, see how I was just going along and doing the shoreline. Just keep in mind, the scale of what you're doing, and how much you want it to, come up, or how it will look and everything. So just paint it the way that you like it, and let's see. And then when you back out, you can see that those changes have come in. You can also use the brush from back here and adjust it to go and make changes depending on what you pick. And then you can just do it in the 2D form as well. So that's the basics for the texturing, and then when you have everything the way that you like, we'll go to the next step. So have fun with that. All right, so you've got your texture map, you have a normals map, and you have your height filled. Those are the three main things you need. Go through, edit this as wanted, as needed, and then we are going to go to our folder that we made a little while back in our P drive, which is your map folder. I have one that I'm running with QGIS, and then I got one for L3DT for the tutorial sake. So I'm going to open that one. Remember, it's got all these in there. We're going to go into the source folder. Now we're going to create a new folder here. We're going to title this DT. Okay. And you can save your project to this as well, just so everything's in there. So let's go ahead and do that, and just save the overall project there. So file, we are going to save project as, go to the P drive, go find that Essentials L3DT. You'll find whatever your map name is, and go to source, go to L3DT, and save. Well, I guess you can give this a title, Essential Island. So it's going to go through and save all of your information for this entire project here, so you have it available. You can save it somewhere else. Like I said, the main thing you're going to need is the texture map, the terrain normals and the height field. And we're going to put that in a slightly different spot. So while it's doing that, well, we'll just let it finish real fast. Okay. Now in that source folder, okay, project was saved. Now you're going to open up that source folder and we're going to make another folder under the source folder. And this one's going to be images or imagery. You can choose. I'm going to just do images. And inside here, that is the destination that we are going to export the texture map and the normals map and the height field. So make sure you're on the right layer. We got texture map. We're going to right click and export. Now we do not want to split into mosaic, but we will go to BMP, and then we're going to click on here and go find that file again, L3DT source images, and we are going to name this one sat map, just like that, sat map. And it will save it as a BMP. So we're going to save and make sure that this width is going to be the same as all of your, if you need to make a change, then you're going to resize for export, but make sure it's the same with all of your other stuff. I'm going to be changing this to 2048. Oops. Okay, and then it's going to send that out. Now we're going to hop into the normals and do the exact same thing. I'm going to go export, BMP. We're going to name this one normals. And we're going to resize 2048 and OK. And now we're going to go to our height field. There we go. Right click, export. Now right here you have a file format. We want an ASC, and the resize, the location that we want is going to be, for now we're going to pop it in images, just the same as the others. And we are going to title this height map, just like that, height map. And then resize that so it all matches 2048, and you'll just make sure yours is the size that you're wanting. Okay, now that we got that done, we can go ahead and close out of L3DT for now. And we've got each of these here. So here is where the fun can start. Okay, so we got Terrain Builder opened. Right now it's just going to be an unnamed project. That's okay. We want to go up here to map frames and add map frame. Leave this at, as long as it shows up this way, at 31 and -6. And then if not, that's right there on the top. And subzone you want north, and press OK. We don't want to add anything in here because it's not going to let us save it until we actually have our map frame stuff imported. So we're just going to press cancel. You'll see that you have a default map frame up here, which we will adjust momentarily. But first we need to import our height map, terrain normals, and then the sat map. So let's hop into our folder here, and here we have it. So my essentials L3DT. So you'll have yours on your P drive that we've made. And let's start with that height map. We're going to click and drag that in here. Make sure you click on terrain height map. And there it is. So you can see over here, there it is, and it has the source on there. Later you'll learn that when we update this, if you end up changing anything, say in a separate program, and adjust it and then put it back in the same spot, you can right click this and refresh content from source, and then it will grab it again and update it here. Okay, so now we want to go to our folder again, and we're going to grab the normals BMP and click and drag that in. And we want to switch this to satellite normal map. Okay, and we're going to zoom out a little bit. You might not be able to see these at first. We're going to adjust their, okay, see this way down here? There's the height map we're looking at. They're not going to be right where they're supposed to be yet. It just kind of throws them in there. We're going to be adjusting that. But let's get them all in first. So now we're going to throw in the sat map. Make sure you have satellite imagery for this one. Press OK. There we go. Now if we were to zoom out again, I believe you're going to start noticing that these, yes, we got one way up there in the frame. We got one down here. I don't even know where the normals one went. It might be behind this one. So now we need to get them all in the correct spot. Okay, so we're going to go up here, right click, and do terrain, coordinates, and properties. I also have this linked in under the terrain builder tab in the Discord as well, with screenshots. So here you want to put in 0.00 for the northing. Here you want that 200,000.000, and then you want to switch this back to 2480. Or 20,480. Okay, and then you're going to press OK. See how it just popped down here? So now we have the height map down right where we want it. We're going to get each one of these to the same spot. Terrain, coordinates, and properties. Okay, so we want this to be 200,000.000. The northing of 0.000. Looks like I just need to add a 0 onto this one. And press OK. And now that's going to be just behind there. And to check it, you have these toggles up top. So if you hold for a second, you'll see that it says View Terrain Height Map. If we click that, that'll turn that one off. And then we have the satellite image. We can click that one off. And then the normal map, we can turn that on. And then we can see that it's right down there. So now we're going to turn that one off and turn back on the satellite image. And that one should move as soon as we do the sat map. Right click, coordinates and properties. .000, and then 2480, 2480, and press OK. There it is. And so the sat map is now just going to be on top of the height map and the normals. So they're just all on top of each other as layers. So now that we all have those where we need them, go to the map frames up here where it says default map frame that we made earlier. We're gonna either double click or right click and press properties. And now we have a locations tab, samplers, and processing. You can always refer back to this video or go check the Discord under Terrain Builder. I have screenshots of these settings. So we're going to go to that location tab, and first thing we want to do is change this to our map name. So put yours in there. And now we need to determine the output root folder, which is your actual project folder in the P drive for your map. So you'll want to find that. Excuse me. SPC, P drive, essentials L3DT, and select that. And then you'll want to create subfolders. I already had the subfolders, and that's where I had saved the project. So if you don't end up finding the terrain builder folder there when you go, this is why you just have to create that. I did have to re-record that, so that's why that went out, but you should be good either way, whether you saved right then or not, yeah, and then you'll just create subfolders. I already did that. And then down here for easting, we are going to change that one. Okay, so the easting here is going to be what we had before. 200,000.000, and then 0.000. So all that will match up. Now we're going to go to samplers. And we have the grid size. So we want this to be 4096. And then the cell size we are going to change to 5.000. And then the terrain size is already where we want it, right there at 2480. And then we're going to come down here to where the size px is and make sure that this is also 2480. It will change this to 1.0 right there. And then 512 by 512 is correct, and 16 is correct, so that's good. And then we do want to change this one down to 40 by 40. And then you'll have your samplers set up. Now we're going to go into processing. So here you will see a couple different things. First, we need to come in here and define our layers config file, which is in our source file of our project folder for the map. So yeah, you go into source, and remember this layers config, that should be in there if you set it up the way that you were supposed to, following along before. So just select that and press open. Now it's linked here. And we're going to go over here to where it says rebuild terrain. This is going to build off of your height map. All right, so we're going to press rebuild terrain, and it will say that it will be created from the actual height map, if any. It's talking about this over here. Do you want to continue? Yes. Now it's assembling, and you'll see it dropped another one here. That's fine. You should expect to see the two at all times, and the one that you'll adjust is the one that it just brought down here. That's the one you'll be able to refresh from source and everything, and when you regenerate, it will update. So now that we've done that, we actually have, now that we have the terrain, but in order to give it its satellite texture and the normals and all that, and its surface mask, we don't have a specific mask on here yet, so that's something we need to do. So we're going to press OK and make that surface mask real fast. So for now, you can see I have these mountains. You can do this however you want, but what I'm going to do is just make a shape for the mountain real quick, and then it's going to make everything else grass, and then we can add and adjust later. So whether you want to do like a little piece of shore or whatnot, this is just a way to get your mask generated, and we'll go into more details on the mask later. But what we want to do is see this tab in your layers manager, wherever you have yours. Now I set mine up this way. I'd recommend doing something similar. Map frames don't take up a lot of space, so I made a small little thing for map frames, right? Because you're gonna have your one that you can see there. Road types I have pretty small. My template libraries I have more here where I can see, and then you'll be editing your properties often, so I wanted more space there. And then here you'll be able to see all the details of your selections. And then I have just enough space here for the to see your different rasters. So we need a mask here to determine the actual like surface kind of textures and everything like that. So what we're going to do is go over here into the Shapes tab, and we have a default area, but we're going to make a new one. You can do it however you need to do. You can even just do grass, because we're going to define different things. So actually, yeah, let's just keep it simple, and we'll add new layer. Let's just make this grass. You could always delete or adjust this later. This is just for us to get our mask, and I guess I could have provided you with a mask that you could have framed to this size, but this will do it for you. So now that we have that layer, we need to come up to this square up here. If you hover over it, it'll tell you that it's add polygon. You click on that, and let's just zoom in a little bit. And we're gonna just choose what kind of like grass, small areas, and then we'll define everything else as grass. And then later you can add, you know, the beach and your mountains and your rocks once you know how you want everything to be. So we're gonna click, and then you can drag, and then you drag, and you click, and you click, and you click, and you can keep on doing this, but as soon as you're done, when you double click, it's gonna close off that shape. You don't wanna overlap, or you're gonna get an error. If you overlap in any way like this, you'll get an error, and then you'll have to delete the unusable shape. Kind of a pain in the butt. So make sure that you have it where it's open and it will be able to close. Don't overlap. So you double click, and you got your shape. My daughter's using a little microphone voice changer in the background, sorry. But all right, so now I have this shape made. We want to come up and click on this edit selection finger, and then we can come back down and click on that shape. Now it is highlighted, and because it's grass, we're gonna right click, and we can change its fill color just for our own reference, and change it to like a green that you like. And then like if you were to drag this around, you can see it's kind of transparent. So we're making this grass, and now that we have that defined, we're going to, and it's on this grass layer. Now that we have our layers linked, we can come up here and right click this. This is all of the layers that we have in that in our config and all set up. So we're gonna come and select grass on here. And so now everything in here is going to be grass, and the whole map's going to end up being kind of grass for our mask right now, but this is just so that we can get started. And so now that that is there, when we generate our layers, see how it says CP_grass? That is going to make it, well, actually we have to do one thing. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. So now we want to go to File and go Export Shapes to Imagery. So that shape that we just made, we're going to export it to imagery. This is the mask that I'm talking about. We're going to go ahead and have it create a surface mask for us. We're going to name this, I mean, it's kind of our default mask that we're going to build from here. So you could name it like default, or, you know, just like base or grass. I'm just going to do this one as default, because you're going to be changing this many times as you adjust things. So this will be our default surface mask. You can even just name it mask if you want. And then we can have it export this for us. So we're going to define in that images folder that we made earlier. We're going to put it in there, and we'll just name this one default mask. And we'll press that. We might as well make this match up with it. Mask. Okay, so we have default mask. That's the same there. And then we're going to crop it by active map frame. And here is where you define everything else. So if we had made this rock, and then we came here and did background surface, everything else except for that shape will show up as whatever texture you select in this dropdown. So we want to make it grass anyway. So yes, the shape will be grass, but so will everything else, but we'll have our mask. And then I'll go over this exact process in depth again when it comes time to like defining your sand and your rocks and your you know, the undergrowth of trees when you get to that stage. So don't worry about that. I will cover that. This is just getting us our base mask. So now that we've done that, we're going to press OK and let it do its thing. It's going to import data. Okay, so now it's finished. We don't really need that shape anymore. So we're going to just delete that. And then to go see that it worked, we're going to go back to the Layers Manager tab here and click on the Rasters tab. And now you'll see that you have a default mask right here. And this mask is just defining grass for all surfaces right here. Once you go in and you do different shapes and you do that same process, you'll be able to see that there are different textures or colors, and you'll have different textures for them when you load up Buldozer. So we're almost to the point where you can go in and start editing. So that's exciting. Now that we have the mask, let's go ahead and you can click this to save, or do File, Save Project. And let's see. Okay. So next, we do need to set up Buldozer, which is basically it launches the executable where it loads the DayZ like game, like the game engine and stuff, so you can actually go in. But it will allow you to simultaneously kind of have a parallel edit experience with Terrain Builder here, and then it will have the game opened up where you can place objects and edit them. And mine is going to be set up because I already have done my Buldozer for my other projects, but we're going to go through and show you how to set that up. So what you want to do is go up here to, what was it? Okay, so I needed to write them up so you have them in the link, or like in Discord, and then also on your in the description. So we're going to come up here to Tools, go down here to Preferences, and then you'll see this, and you're going to go down to where it says Buldozer and click on that. Then you're going to get this right here. So you'll need to have this path, which is going to point to the executable, and then the launch parameters and the data directory. I will be pasting this for you so you can see exactly, it's in order. So here, I'll even do this to make it a little, that is my stomach, okay. All right, so first you have the exe file path. So you would want to copy this and paste that there. And then you'll have the launch parameters, which is right there, and you'll paste that. Now, actually, pasting, you see, you're going to have to find yours because yours should be in this same kind of setup, but you do see where it says DayZ _ be.exe. That's what you have to find. This should be the route you take. You should have it on your C drive, or you're going to probably run into other issues and stuff. So make sure your DayZ is on your C drive as well. But yeah, then you go SteamLibrary, steamapps, common, DayZ, and then that one. So if you have to actually, you know, click on this and go find that path, then just do that. And then the launch parameters is just a paste. You can just paste in this right here, and you'll be good. And then you want to select your P drive that you've made for the data directory. So this will be in the description. Okay. and then you would just press OK. And then once you've done that, you will be able to load in to Buldozer by clicking this. Now I noticed that you have a smoother load if it knows right where you want it, instead of just see how it just flew off screen and went in the middle of nowhere, my little cursor. It does want to put you where that is. So if you zoom in somewhere, I've noticed I just get the best results and the quickest loading in doing this. And then come up to this and you will select connect to Buldozer. And you'll want to be patient depending on the size of your map and how much you've done on it, how many objects are placed. This time can increase. So usually this is a good time while it's loading to, you know, go get a drink, go to the bathroom, I don't know, do something that helps you get creative, and then just be patient for it. All right, so it's loaded in, and we're not seeing much, but now we know that the Buldozer is functioning. The reason we can't see anything right now is because we still haven't generated our layers for the map. Like that mask and everything we just set up. But now that we know that Buldozer is working, we can close it out. We're gonna just press escape. There is a thing where sometimes escape does not work for people. It's weird, and you have a hard time getting in here. Sometimes it'll be finicky, and you have to relaunch it a couple times. So if you can't press escape and click on exit, then you would just alt tab into back here into terrain builder, and you would go click on the little icon here, and it will be disconnect from Buldozer instead, and then it will ask you if you're sure, and you just press yes. Okay, so now we need to generate these actual layers, so we're going to go double click on our map frames and go back to processing. As you'll see, it still shows the little warning icon. So we've already rebuilt terrain, we got our check there. Now we are on to this part. We have this defined, that's good. We're going to go export satellite texture, so that's our sat map. We're going to export the satellite normal map as well, and then export surface mask. So that's going to grab each of those, and then we're going to do 5 materials and satellite normal map for this first one, and we're going to have it convert exported textures into PAA files, and we're going to untick this for now. It sometimes can cause some weird issues, and you can leave debug on if you want. And now at this point we are going to generate layers. Now we are generating, it's going to have 3 things generating, so it'll have 3 processes that it goes through, and then you'll see a console pop up. So generate layers. See how it says step 1 of 3? So right now it's processing the satellite map, and then after that it'll go to the normals and the mask. So now you just have to wait. It's pretty accurate on by a minute or so with its remaining time estimations. So just be patient, wait for each one of these steps, and then I'll see you when this is finished. Okay, now you'll see it doing this, and you'll just let that finish. All right, so now it has finished generating those layers. We can press OK, and I'm going to go ahead and save again. And now we can go back up to this little icon and press on connect to Buldozer. All right, awesome. It has loaded up, so you'll be able to look around and check it out. Cool. So moving your mouse around will move it. I highly recommend that you go to the link for all the controls in the Discord, and that you rebind them to your liking. It takes some getting used to. It's not like your average, you know, it's developer style tools. So they're not necessarily like easy and intuitive in the same way that, you know, like creator tools are made, like the DayZ editor and things. So yeah, you'll definitely want to check out what the different key bindings are and adjust them for yourself. At default, if you're wondering how I'm looking around like that, I believe it's the you hold 5 on the numpad. I can't replicate it right now because I've got I have an MMO mouse that I've actually keybind several of the side thumb keys for different functions. But yeah, you'll just have to play with it, get it the way that you like. And this is just getting, you know, like set up with Buldozer, and then it's ready. And then I guess we'll add one more part to this video, which is the template libraries, so that you know, can actually place an item in here. I guess if you boost up the sensitivity, you can move around with less movement. So, yeah, you can see, I believe it's Q. Yeah, you can go rise up a little bit and look, but it just has surface texture right now, but we've defined everything as grass with that surface mask until we tell it otherwise. So it'll look like this when you're up closer to it, even if it shows like sand. Your satellite map does not make the transition and change in layers. You have to do that manually. It just gives you that, you know, over the top appearance and color tones. The rest you have to actually adjust. So cool. Yeah, so now you have Buldozer running and you have your map in here. So if you want to place something down, I'll cover shortly how to do that. I'll do a more in-depth video soon, but so that you can actually kind of start experimenting and get started with that. Let's tab back over into Terrain Builder, and there's a couple things that are going to be important. You got this library manager here, and then over here you've got your layers manager and your objects tab. So we're going to go into objects. You got your default, leave that. We are going to go into add a new layer. And it's good to have layers for just about everything that you do. So you could even have a layer that's like for your military, a layer specifically for your roads and whatnot. So keep that in mind. Right now, I guess we'll just add on the default layer, because you can copy and paste things to different layers later if you need to. Okay, so we've got template libraries over here. We want to add all the in-game assets so that we're going to be able to access them, and then I'll give you that file. Well, you should already have it in the structure that we set up. And so you're going to come in here, you're going to press this one, which is or create new template library in your library manager window here. We're going to click on that. You don't need to put in a name because it will generate one for you. So you're going to click both of these boxes, and then we got to go select what we want out of the P drive. So we're going to go down there, click on P drive, and find the DayZ folder, which is this one right here. Now that we have the main folder selected there of that directory, we're going to press OK. We can leave this black for now. If you make individual ones, like for example, you've got trees in here. Let's just go over these. So see how this says structures and structures bliss? If you see _bliss, that is talking about Livonia or Enoch assets under the whatever category it's saying. So same with like rocks, plants, or trees. If it says _bliss, it's talking about Livonia. If it's just, you know, like plants and not plants bliss, it's talking about Shanaris. So as you add these individually, you can pick, say you put in the water template library, then you can select blue for it. For this general library that we have, which is just the DayZ, I'm going to go ahead and leave it black. It's going to have pretty much everything there, and we'll leave it on rectangle. And we're going to press OK, and it's going to load for a minute. And then it's going to tell you that there are some duplicate names that are causing issues. And that's no problem, because we're going to just have it automatically rename them, and then it will generate, and over to the right in the template libraries window, you'll see that the number goes from DayZ. Yep, see how it just popped up over here? So we didn't get any error for the duplicates, but if you do, you just press automatically rename all. Oh, here it is. I was waiting for that. Yep, so you'll just press automatically rename all and press OK, and now there'll be some more that even pop up over here. So here you go. Now you've got your template library in here. So for example, if you were to scroll down here and find, let's press T. That'll bring us down to the T. It's alphabetized, and these are plants, right? So if we were to click on this plant, or we want this plant, in order to put it down on the map, we have to come up here and press Add Object. So we click on Add Object first, and then we come find the object we want. Then we click on that one, and we come here and we press it. Now you can see it's very small. Let's click on another one and add that and add this. So we'll add 4 plants. So we got 4 plants here. If you want to adjust them, click back on the edit selection, and you can click on that and drag it around. Now, one cool thing, I don't have both windows up here, but as I move this, actually I can show you with OBS, one second. We're going to tab into Buldozer. So like as you move this, it's going to move live in Buldozer as well. So if you tab back into Buldozer, here we have those plants. So we're going to come up close to those, and this is what we just placed. You can still click on them in here, and you can move them around. Like I said, you're going to have to go through your key bindings and figure that part out yourself. It takes time. It's kind of a pain. But rebind things to what you're comfortable with, play with them, and get used to them. Don't whine and cry about it. It's developer based. It's not like necessarily made easy for creators type of thing. Once you get it though, you're gonna love it. I love it. I just had I rebinded mine to an MMO mouse, got it all set up the way I wanted. But yeah, you're gonna want to whine and cry about how difficult it is at first, because it's just not intuitive at first until you're used to it. But yeah, so there's all kinds of different keys that you'll need to adjust so that you can do things like this. There's scaling, rotations, and all that. So you just need to read the resources and spend that time if you're serious about it. So now we've placed those. If we were to press, I believe it's R when you're in Buldozer, that will delete it. If you press C, that will copy it. However you oriented it, so like it'll stay the same, but if you wanted it to come back as a default, you would press V, and that'll copy it as it came in the first time. So yeah, just go over your controls, figure those things out. So there's basic object placement. And then you can see it all here. If I were to click and drag and select all these and move them, they're going to be moving in here as well. You can see they'll have the little red bars above them. That means they're selected and can be adjusted. Now let's go over the file. So we're going to go over to objects, and whatever layer you're on, we're on default layer right now. Whatever layer you're on when you select over here on your library manager and place things is the layer that those are going to be on. Unless you had like a secondary layer, like say I had a default 2, and I grabbed all this and I did Control-C and I copied it, and then I went over to that separate layer and pasted it. That's the only way to kind of like switch things on the layer, and then you just would remove the one you don't want, or keep both, whatever. But for now, we are going to make a new layer, and we're going to call this all in one. You can either just do one like that or just type it. So this is the all-in-one layer. What that means is I've got a file that has all the in-game assets nicely organized for you that you can put in, and you just need a large section. Some people put it out in the ocean, or if you've got a flat area that you're going to develop like later on. So I'll probably put mine like right over here or something. That's what we're going to do next. So that's located in your, where did I put it? In your file structure that we put together. So I got to go to the P drive and back to essentials. And I believe that should be under your source, one of each. So when you go into the one of each, there's that text, right? So this is a txt folder. If you open it up, it's got everything, and they're all organized by coordinates next to each other. So we are going to import that. So we're going to select that by going up here to File. We are going to import, import objects, and we're on the all-in-one layer that we want. So now we're going to pick files, and we're going to go to source, one of each, and select that text and press OK. We're going to leave it at relative. That's going to put it so it's going to match with your terrain. If you had an exact height and you knew the elevation and that kind of thing, then you could go into the do the absolute, but you're going to probably be adjusting that anyway, so I would just go ahead and leave it at relative, and you're going to press OK. You can see right now it's loading all of these right now through the template libraries that we put in here. So just give that some time. Okay, so now it's loaded those. And so we're gonna, we're on the all-in-one, and you can see it put them over here. So we need to grab all those. They're in the bottom corner. So we are going to click and drag and select all of these, and we're gonna move them where we want them. There we go. So there's your all-in-one. That shows you how big the map is and stuff, because it makes those look tiny. So you can find a spot and place those. And then when you click your middle mouse button anywhere you are in Terrain Builder, it will take you to that location on Buldozer. So now it'll take us, we're going to go just to the side of here. And we can tab in there, and you will see it might be a little laggy at first as it tries to load every asset in the game, which is understandable. But now you have a place where you can come and view everything, and you've learned how to import objects via TXT, because you will be able to export your own custom builds and different things and re-import them, and do that based on layers. So as you can see, it's loading all the train tracks. Over there you can see all the rocks, and this is just going to make life a lot easier for you, because you don't get a preview in your template library in Terrain Builder. So with this, you can come and it's organized. You can find what you need. What I do is I come and I grab every little thing that I want. Like I'll click on it, and then I come off to the side and I make what I call palettes, or little like construction templates off to the side. So say I wanted, for example, just this little, here, let me click off, just this shed out of all this stuff. I could come over here and press C, and then say I want this little military thing, and that. So I can go and select everything that I want, make a little thing here, and then click and drag and select it either in here or on Buldozer. And then I can copy that template that I've made for somewhere else and Control V, paste it elsewhere. So that should get you set up with that. And in the next video, yep, see, now it's over there. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to set up a script for Buldozer so that you can do this. Because sometimes it'll start raining, because it's kind of like a live preview of like the world. This will help you adjust your object and view distance to your liking, but when you press F10, it will activate a script and you can change the lighting and it will make things run smoother and look better a bunch. But I'll explain how to do that. And it should be in the folder setup, I believe, already. So you might just be able to press F10, but it'll have my default settings. But if it's not, I'll have to double check. I will have a video and the resources available for that. But anyway, that is the end of this video. This was just to help you get your template library set up for object placement. And then we can go more in depth on some controls and tips and tricks and things of getting things placed. And now you can just start exploring and experimenting. There are some other resources out there on the actual terraforming, which when you press F, you're going to bring up this menu here. And there's all kinds of things to do with the brush, but I figure I make just a separate little video. And but if you need to, you can press F, and if you look up top, and when you rotate with G, it changes the tool, and then you use right and left click, so you can play with that. As you can see, it'll raise and lower. But I'm not going in depth with that now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.